Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking about Ticket to Ride Legacy, Legends of the West. But before we do, we just want to remind you to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. We do top 10 lists, we do reviews, we do skits, we do vlogs about conventions. So you just want to make sure to subscribe so you can see all of that as it comes out. Okay, Ticket to Ride Legacy is designed by Rob Davio, Matt Leacock, and of course Alan R. Moon, and is published by Days of Wonder.
I was pretty stoked when I heard there was going to be a Ticket to Ride Legacy game. We love Legacy games. We've been through a lot of them.
Yes.
So we're also Ticket to Ride fans. So this is kind of like a match made in heaven. We're very excited about this one, to play this one. Okay, up front, we're not going to give out any spoilers other than things that were in the rule book. So things that you'll find out at the end of your first mission are going to be fair game, because you'll find them out at the end of your first mission, and also they're most likely going to be in the rule book just towards the end of the rule book.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not going to do a teach of the game. Normally at this point in the game, I would kind of go through and teach you how to play the game, and in some way give you an overview. We can't really do that because it would give away spoilers, show you parts of the map. We don't want to do that. The base game, the very first mission, is going to be very, very similar to the base game of Ticket to Ride. So if you're familiar with that, that's kind of your jumping off point. If you're unfamiliar with that, watch our video on how to play Ticket to Ride and kind of our review on that. I'll put a link down below to our Ticket to Ride content, so that way you kind of have a baseline of the original game going into the Legacy style game. So yeah, no spoilers, but also no teach, unfortunately, because of that.
So when you start the game, you have pieces of a puzzle, and that's your map where you're building these routes to. And then as the game progresses, you get access to more pieces of the puzzle. One of the nice things about it is whoever wins gets to decide what next piece is getting put out. So as the game is expanding, you also have rules that are expanding with that. Like every piece has a different element that it's adding to the game. So it was kind of like, as you got more puzzle pieces, you got all these like mini games, and it didn't really matter what order they came out in, because sometimes they would interact with each other, but not really. It was like its own little mini game for every map tile that came out.
A lot of the Legacy style games or campaign style games that we play have some kind of a narrative arc to them, especially the ones that are cooperative. Cooperative games, for whatever reason, lend themselves very, very well to a story arc. This did have a very light, very thinly veiled narrative kind of going on from beginning to end. There's some characters that are popping up and causing some chaos in the wild, wild west, that kind of thing. But it's very thinly put on there. It did exist, but it wasn't strong. The good news is it was consistent. You know, you'd pop up, you'd mention them, and then you'd kind of play your game. Yeah. You'd pop up, you'd play your game. You know, you hear about them kind of as you pull the card out of the deck. You'd find out that they were, that name popped up again, or whatever the case was. And it kind of matched the theme, that kind of that Wild Wild West expansion theme, the railroad expansions themes as you were playing the game. So despite it being thinly veiled, it was consistent, and it did match the theme.
Yeah. I touched on this earlier, but after the game is over, there's different things that happen at the end. Like I said, at the end of every round is when the winner gets to choose what's happening next. So then you have to read all of that information at the end of it, and then you get to kind of reread it when you start the next game, unless you're playing it back to back. So it's nice that in a competitive game like this, that after a round has happened, the winner gets something like immediate that they get to do, instead of just waiting until the very end of the game to see who actually won. That the winner of that round immediately got to do something to progress the game.
Similarly, the loser also got to do some things as well. So it wasn't just like the winner gets to do some fun stuff. The losers just have to sit back and whatever. Especially if it's something that, like, if you're playing in a family setting like we did, the adults are usually going to score pretty well. Yeah. The kids aren't necessarily going to score as high every time. So the losers, they still have some catch-up mechanisms built in, some extra abilities, extra roles they can take on, things that they get to do that no one else gets to do. So that way everyone feels involved. They have to do something cool and special, even if they didn't necessarily score the highest that round. Yeah. Everyone kind of feels involved at the end of the game.
Yeah. So the first part of this game, like I said, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the first part of this game was really fun as we were just starting to expand the game. You know, a regular Ticket to Ride game with somebody who's very familiar with it will maybe be like our family can play a game like what 45
Yeah,
minutes,
half hour to 45, depending on
15, maybe
yeah.
something like that. And so the first couple of games of this were around that same time frame. But as you're adding on, and as you have like these mini puzzles that aren't really intersecting with each other, I felt like that, like after the first 2/3, that last that last third was very difficult. We decided to play this with our girls. And
for reference, they are, at the time, they were 6 and 10.
yes, they were 6 and 10 at the time that we played this with them. We played the whole game with them, and there was a part where we got to like round, 8, 9, somewhere in there, that they just did not want to play. And I totally get it. There was rounds, there was a couple sessions where it was over 2 hours, and that's just a really long time to ask a child to sit at a table. And not just that, but with all legacy games, when a round is over, there's a ton of cleanup. And the cleanup is just as important as the gameplay to a legacy game. But the kids, when the game is over, the game's over. Like, they don't care about all that cleanup stuff. They don't care about carrying on and adding to the story and figuring out what's happening. So that was very challenging. I've played a lot of legacy games, and I can say without hesitation that this is actually my least favorite legacy game.
That's interesting to hear.
Yeah, there's a lot of legacy games I played. I love the experience. I have so many fun stories, but this is one where there's like, okay, so there's some that I wish I could forget everything and do it all over again. And I don't have that with this. I'm actually happy to be done with it.
In fact, we need to almost like take a break and like all Ticket to Rides for like a little while, just as a palate cleanser,
yes,
so that we can enjoy our regular Ticket to Ride games later on.
It's just 'cause the story wasn't compelling. The story was there to kind of tie together. I don't know what it was tying together. The story was there, but it just, and all the other legacy games I played, the story drives you, and that there was a story, but it did not drive me anywhere.
Yeah, well, there wasn't like I wonder what's going to happen next.
Yes.
There was never, none of those moments happened.
Yeah.
I would say that some of the individual mechanisms that we went through, there's 12 missions, right?
Yeah.
In some of them that were introduced, were really actually individually on their own really cool ways to play Ticket to Ride. So I was looking forward to those. That was what I was kind of being driven by, was what's the next cool thing that we get to unbox, figure out, explore a new region of the map, and see what mechanisms that region of the map holds. That was, for me, the most exciting part. But even still, there came a point where it was like, there's so much going on, I can't really focus on just one of them. And then eventually some of them would start kind of expiring, and then you still only have like 3, 4, 5 going on at a time. Yeah, and I will say, if you're one of those people that's concerned that once you're done with playing a legacy game, you just have to throw it away, there is actually a mode that, after the game, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but when the game is completely done, you're finished with the entire campaign, there is a way that you can keep on playing the game eternally. So in that way, you kind of have your own custom version of Ticket to Ride. You have your own kind of special rules, Ticket to Ride. Okay, now, would we play that?
No.
As you probably can guess,
No.
We have no interest in going through that. We've played it through the 12 times. We've learned everything we wanted to learn about it. We're ready to be done.
My favorite thing about this game was the fact that Davenport was on it.
Yes, you find that out, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but you find that out, well, yes, it's a map of the United States.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. But there's other cities that could be chosen, but no, we won.
That's right.
We won. Is your city in Ticket to Ride Legacy? Probably.
Because most people are from major cities.
Yes.
There's a lot of major cities here. But it was fun to see our little small town somehow make it into this game, so that was exciting. It's probably because of us.
Yeah, it is. It's 100% because of us, because these designers know we exist.
If you're a Ticket to Ride fan, if you're a Legacy fan, it is worth a playthrough, but at the same time, I don't think you should have high expectations.
Yes. And maybe don't play with children.
They did great. Our kids did great.
They did great. They were able to do the game. I think it was too much for them. But yeah.
Is that around 8, 9 months?
Yeah.
I get you.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
Yes, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.